Most people we work with, even myself, and I would say I'm reasonably up there, I only focus on the 20% of things that I know I can get the 80% results from. So what to actually assess? We know we've got to focus on those basics, so that what do we actually need to know? And for me, it's their current knowledge of nutrition. Because I need to make sure I'm giving the right information that's at the right level, so they are able to understand that, and then we can progress on. There is no point giving, there's loads of coaches out there, and I see it happen all the time. They use ridiculously big words in order to sound intelligent. I always think if you can make something sound really, really simple, then you kind of understood that probably principle much better. And when I'm writing my nutrition plans for a client, I always think of it like a Lego manual. I used to love playing with Lego when I was a kid. Open page 1, you need this and this block. You put block on the next page. Right, what's the next one? Right, okay, I'll do that now. Okay, that's kind of really what coaching, whether it's nutrition or training, whatever, is about. Small steps. Get them fundamentally down, build the foundations. Once you've done that, then let's progress it on. Okay? And if you know, oh crap, we missed out a lot, let's regress. Go back to those foundations all the time. Always come back to the basics. So yeah, I need to kind of know where they're at in terms of their nutrition, how to speak to them, and kind of where to push them. And again, you want to make sure that's appropriate to that individual. Have a look at their current diet setup, and you can never look at anything in isolation. Some people might look at my diet and they'll go, oh, why are you eating that? That's rubbish. It's irrelevant, completely irrelevant. Because you have to look at things within a 24-hour or weekly, monthly, yearly period to see whether that's a bad choice or a good choice. For me, there is no good or bad food. The only bad food is food that's gone off and it's rotten and it's only going to give you food poisoning, but apart from that, there's no good or bad food, it's all great. And then you've got to kind of look at their current intake, and when I mean intake, I mean their total amount of how much they are feeding, or lack of feeding, depending on their situation, and then also their lifestyle factors, family, all that kind of jazz, and their cooking ability. If you can't cook, pretty much game over, okay? Because if you don't just eat, I'm going to talk about macronutrients. We don't just eat macronutrients. We don't even eat food. We actually eat meals. And if you can't put those meals together, like you said earlier, like your diet was boring, okay, and you're eating the same stuff every day, and let me guess, it's probably chicken, broccoli, and rice, which doesn't take or my new favourites, white fish and a rice cake. If you cannot construct a meal, you are not going to stick to this. Okay? You need to be able to cook a lasagna. You need to be able to cook a chili, a bolognese. So sometimes the best thing I can say to my clients is, look, you don't need my help. You need to go to some cooking lessons, right? Once you learn how to make your food sexy and spicy, then come back and then we can actually get to implement some decent food choices. So this is what I'm going to sort of talk about, and I said focus on the basics. So you need to make sure that their goals are on point and that you periodise out kind of where you want things to go and that you set them up for long-term success. If a client comes to me and they're only going to work with me for 6 months, that's the sort of what they sign up for. I'm in my head already planning their next 3 to 5 years. So a client might come to me and she's like, Steve, I want to compete in April. I'm like, right, great, yeah, you'll compete in April. But I'm already thinking in 3 years' time, I want them to be better, leaner, bigger, more muscle. I want them to be a winner. I want them to be a champion. So I'm going to set them up for that success, even if that means I have to sacrifice a little bit initially, because long term, it's like a marathon, not a sprint. So I'll see a lot of coaches at the moment, and they'll get, these crazy. You've seen a 12-week body transformation online. You've got these kind of crazy development, yeah. Well, a lot of the time, yeah, they look great, but I'd probably say what happens in the week after they come off their diet, they regain all that weight back, and it can happen in a week. It can. You lose all that weight. With 1 week, 1 month later, they're back to where they were, metabolic rates all over the place, and they'll never lose that weight again. Essentially, we call that like a YOLO, you're only eating once. For me, I'm all about, for me, it's like, well, actually, I would like to have an easier time next time they diet, look better next time they diet. So yeah, always think long term. And then we've got to make sure we've got that health there, so by having some really decent principles, like, 80% of the food that my clients eat, I want it to be so loads of, you know, vegetables, fruits, pulses, seeds, meat sources, all that kind of stuff. Just food you look at and you go, I know exactly what that is. Sometimes you might go bok choy. Okay, well, I can learn that, but anyway, single ingredient foods, and then you've got the other 20%, you can eat whatever, you know, I'll say to my clients, you can eat whatever the fuck you want, as long as it kind of, do the 80%, you can have the 20. So if my clients go to the cinema, I'm not going to say take a Tupperware, it's ridiculous. Do you know what, if you want to eat some popcorn, you can allow for that, yeah? Simple. In health isn't just about, you know, nutrition. Nutritionists get so wrapped up in like healthy things, but they then forget about social health, about mental health, about, you know, the kind of social dynamics that you're in with your family, your friends on a daily basis. That's also got to be healthy. So, and then we've got sleep, hydration, but for me, this is kind of the ones I'm going to be talking about: weekly intake of food and daily macronutrient intakes. And then the rest, kind of when we come down to food quality, I'm not so concerned about that, and nutrient frequency in terms of how often you should eat, at what times you should eat, and also then we've got supplements. For me, if you get these nailed and you focus on your weekly intake of food compared to your training volume, so we're essentially establishing energy balance with your macronutrient intake set up correctly, that's going to do most of the work for you. Once you've, like I said, nailed all that and you want to refine things, yeah, you can use some supplements. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Or, for example, focusing on what time you're going to have particular types of nutrients. Now, when you write a plan, always make sure you speak to the client, you know, use their name, mention kind of what they're currently doing and how your nutrition plan that you're going to implement is going to, you know, improve what they're doing, and make education key. Make things simple as possible. Now, I see a lot of, again, nutrition plans from coaches, and it's my job, I have to mentor our company's coaches so that they deliver good plans. And a lot of the times, the ones that need the most help, they just say what they have to do. So, we've got a particular problem, this is what I want you to do to fix it. Now, some people go, yeah, I'll do that. Other people need to understand, if they're going to incorporate this into a daily, monthly, yearly, however long lifestyle, they need to understand why this is actually important. They need to know how that they can actually improve. So where are they at? How do I get them 2 steps forward? And why do I need them to get to the end goal? So you need to develop that education with them to really teach them, you know, to understand why. Because if I don't know why I'm doing something, I might do it for a week, but then I'm going to get real bored of it because I'm not going to value it. So, first of all, you need to kind of find out where they're currently at in terms of their caloric intake. Now, we've heard of, like, there's loads of fad diets in our industry, unfortunately, when it comes to nutrition. There's like Herbalife, that's a big fad. And there's so many other things that you kind of get hooked into, like, oh yeah, this is great, this will help you lose loads of weight. And it's like, it's some sort of magic cure or magic pill, which everyone does want, okay? Everyone does want that magic pill, but it doesn't exist. So really all they're doing is using these fundamentals, what I'm going to go over now, but they're trying to just give it to you in some other sort of magic kind of my crap sort of thing, okay? So whether it's like, yeah, you have to eat chicken, broccoli and rice in order to get lean, or you have to have whitefish and a rice cake to get lean, it's not that what's getting them lean, it is what we're about to come to. Energy balance. Eat less food, do more exercise, and you will get lean, or lose weight, so to speak. Not necessarily get lean, but you will lose weight. Now the ultimate goal for me is, with anyone, whether they're 80 years old, even if my 90-year-old gran came to me, she's like, Steve, I want to get shredded, how do I do it? I'm like, well now, for you it's really important to keep all your muscle mass. You know, no one wants hypertrophy, okay? No one wants to break down muscle. It's one of the biggest signs of aging, as we know. My nan standing up off the toilet is a pretty decent measure that she needs some muscle mass, okay? So, muscle mass is fantastic, and we always want to make sure we keep that. So everything in our power we can do to keep that, we will. But at the same time, we need to keep our muscle mass and lose that unwanted belly fat, or wherever you decide to store your fat is. Everyone stores it differently. But anyway, so when we're looking at metabolic rate, it's very, very dynamic, fluctuates all the time, it's never static. And it's essentially made up of these four things. Now, these have all got different anagrams in whatever journal you pick up. I'll probably say something like a different anagram, but anyway, let's just roll with these. So your BMR is your basal metabolic rate. This is kind of how many calories you are burning sat doing diddly squat, okay? About 70%. Now these are obviously going to change depending on the individual, but roughly 70%. And then you've got non-exercise thermogenesis or spontaneous exercises, about 15%. Now I know I've been well lazy today. I've only done about 3,000 steps by the end of today. Normally I walk 7. So tomorrow I have to make up for this, but I'll explain why later on. So you're kind of like, you're fidgeting, you're walking from day to day, you know, like, who's ever tried a diet before which was really low calorie? Yeah, a couple of people? Yeah. I bet if you went to Sainsbury's, you would park outside the door. You would drive around 40 minutes just to park outside the door. Okay, you would do that because you don't want to expend energy. I'm exactly 14 days away from my competition this year, so I compete in fitness modelling, so my calories are pretty low at the moment compared to where they might normally be for the rest of the year. And, you know, I do find myself, you know, the TV remote will be there, something shit will be on telly, and I'll be like, do I change it? Got to get up. I just watch it. Or be like, oh, I need to use the bathroom. Wait a bit. So you know, this is what I'm saying is this is very fluctuating with kind of what's happening with the rest of your body and what you're doing. And then 10% of the food that you eat is actually burnt off itself anyway through thermogenesis. And then you've got the thermic effect of exercise. Now obviously the more exercise you do, this number will go up and that number will be reduced, as will these, because we're looking at the total number, but generally it's about 5%. So not actually that much. So when people think, oh yeah, I exercise, so it means I can eat more, well, looking at the research, you don't really burn that many calories from exercise. It might help you in terms of prevent obesity later down the line, but anyway. Let's look at nutrition is kind of key for me. This is always why I come back to that. Now, we might hear of what you eat over a day, but for me, a day is way too short. Because a day for most people spend that day asleep anyway, like, or let's say, you know, anywhere from 6 to 10 hours. So then you're only left with about, you know, 12 to 14. You know, that's way too short to look at any sort of nutritional strategy. Nutritional strategy has to be looked over at least over a week. It's much more realistic, it's more practical, and you can base it around your training periodization, okay? So always look at things over a week. That's why if someone said to me, and they're like, okay Steve, I want to have a nutrition consultation with you, and I've probably been guilty of this myself, probably have. Somebody said to me, I eat Cocoa Pops for breakfast. What are you eating Cocoa Pops for breakfast? That's a rubbish choice. Is it? Is Cocoa Pops a bad choice for breakfast? Perfectly fine. It's in context. All the time in context. If my client, let's say, has to eat a croissant in the morning, because they love croissants, but that's part of their 20%, their daily intake, which might be eat whatever they want. But then for the rest of the day, they're going to eat another 3 to 4 meals. It's going to contain a really good source of protein, loads of vegetables, some essential fats in there, and it's within their daily and weekly targets of calories. Have we got any problem with this croissant? No. As long as it's not causing any like GI distress or discomfort or they're intolerant to gluten or anything, but yeah, nothing wrong with that at all. So how do you find this magical number of calories over a week? Now, who's used a calorie calculator before, like Harris-Benedict equation? Yeah, a few people. So you basically go, right, I weigh this much, I think I do this much, therefore you eat this many calories. Yeah? It's very popular. A lot of people use it. It's easy. You think, oh, this is great. I've got this number now. I can show this to my clients. It's going to look real professional. This is kind of where they should be at. But again, we work with outliers all the time. So anyone who's competed before and dieted before, they're not going to fit that spectrum. Anyone with a shitload of muscle mass is not going to fit that spectrum. And ultimately, you can really kind of mess someone up. Whether you take their calories far too low, or that you end up taking them far too high, you won't get the results, they won't get the results, you'll make them unhappy, you'll be unhappy, there'll be so much unhappiness at the other end. So let's just find out exactly what they're doing. And this is what I thought was great about Anthony's thing when he said about running style. Let's actually have a look what that person's running like before you try and even change it. So for me, I record body weight. Body weight's a great number. It tells me my relationship with gravity, that's about it. But it's a number, and it's measurable, and it's consistent, and it's reliable. I can keep doing that as many times as I want. It's easy, it costs nothing once I've got the scales. But anyway, then I record a client's intake for 2 weeks. So I want to know what you eat for 2 weeks, because that gives me a long enough period to make some assumptions. And even then, it's only a baseline, and it's only literally a slightly better version of a calculator, which is essentially, 2,000 calories equals 2,000 calories. So it is just a more appropriate way of seeing kind of where someone's at. And obviously I have to teach people how to do this, so I just say, right, go track your food for 2 weeks and come back to me. There's an educational process, but unfortunately I don't have time to tell you how to do that. So, and then we're going to find the mean, basically, the average. And we're going to find the average of the calories, we're going to find the average of the protein intake, we're going to find the average of the carbohydrates and the fats. And then we're going to record body weight 2 weeks after to see the change. So we've got our data points, and then we can see exactly what's happened. So this is like a real crude case study. Anyone here on our BTN Academy already? One person, so you've probably already seen this slide before. But anyway, it's always good to go back to. Never underestimate the power of going over your basics. So we've got 3 clients here. They all weigh the same. They've all got body fat percentage differently. And this is, again, only just so you can visualize this in your head, because each and every one of you have a different version of what 30, 20, and 10% looks like, but they're all different. Then what we've got here is their average intake over the 14-day period, how much weight that they changed, that's in kilos by the way, not pounds, and then roughly where their maintenance is at. So this guy ate 2,800, nothing happened. His maintenance is about 2,800. This guy, over 14 days, he gained a kilo. Okay? Now, if we use the rule of 3,500 calories, is roughly half a kilo of fat. You can just about get a good indication. Now, bear in mind, if all of a sudden they start eating a shed load more carbohydrates, and this is why it needs to be completely unbiased. And you want to get to know, and I always say that to my clients, eat how you normally do. I don't care if you eat Mars bars and Pop-Tarts and Cocoa Pops. Eat it, just track it, okay? Because if you do that, I can help you. If you don't, then go see someone else, because you're just wasting yours and my time. So, yeah, it's all about getting them to be honest, but anyway, that does have a few problems. But essentially, once we've got that in, you can generally see the honest ones from the dishonest ones. So you can kind of work out from this equation down here that this person essentially overate by 2 lots, because if you over 2 weeks, overate by about 7,000 calories. You divide the 7,000 calories that they overate by 3,500, which is about 500 overate a day from here. Okay, so you can just take that off there. I'm sure you can have a little play with this at home, but you will be able to figure it out. Alright? This person here, actually, they ate 3,000, they lost a little bit of weight, so actually their maintenance calories is higher than what they're currently intaking. Is everyone, put your thumbs up if you're with me on this, there or there. Be honest. Alright, okay, very decent. So essentially, your maintenance is where your weight is completely stable. If you lost weight, obviously you are eating and you're under eating, and if you gain weight, you're overeating, right? So this is what my clients will fill out for me every day. They'll put their protein amounts in, they'll put their carbohydrates amount in, fats, fibre, calories, and their weight change. And then this will give me an estimation of kind of where their maintenance calories is at. But most importantly, it also tells me what percentages of the diet do they like to get energy from. Okay, so yeah, this is my diet. I've got a very, 50% of my diet comes from carbohydrates. Now, some people might think that's no good. That's just way too many carbohydrates. You'll spike your insulin and you'll get fat. I don't think so. So it all comes down to preference, because I love this. This makes me feel good. This makes me train hard. If I train hard, I want to get well pumped and swollen and training. That's going to give me more motivation. I'll stick to the diet. Everyone's going to win and feel good. Okay, so I can work with this and then go, well, actually, do you know what? I'd like to perhaps push this in a slightly different direction, and I'll give justification why. So I've had clients come to me and they're on like a 70% fat diet or 50% fat diet. Well, yes, some sort of level of fats is essential and good for human health. However, it's not needed up to 50% of the diet, because what they're probably missing out on is either protein or they're missing out on carbohydrates, which can fuel their training. If we can fuel their training, they train harder, they're going to actually elicit a better calorie deficit net over the week, okay? Because their expenditure is going to be higher. They're going to get better results from their training because they're actually fueling that properly and effectively. Well, this is a big slide, isn't it? So, when you set the calorie deficit, you've got the calorie maintenance level, and obviously we need to lose weight. So I would only ever want a client to lose 0.5% of their weight to 1%. Never anymore. So if you ever see these bold claims like, oh, lose 6 pounds in a week, just don't go near it. Some absolute retard wrote it. So just stick to the basics, because any more, even at 1% of your body weight, so if you're 100 kilos and you lost 1 kilo, you've lost the top range, okay? And the research would suggest within a natural athlete who weight trains, that even in that situation, 43% of the weight that's lost is coming from lean tissue. 43%. So if you are more aggressive than 1%, then that number's going to be even higher. At the lower end, at 0.5, so if, I'm about 80 kilos, so for me, that's only 0.4 of a kilo a week lost. I'm looking for marginal gains here. And even then, I'm still going to lose about 20 to 30% lean tissue every single day, week, month, year, for as long as I'm in that calorie deficit. So keep it nice and small. And in order to keep it small, use a small deficit. It always works with percentages, because then it's relative to the individual. I've heard a lot of people say, oh, just take on 500 calories. Every day you lose a pound a week, because that's 3,500. It doesn't really quite work like that. So, if you're a guy and you're eating 5,000 calories, then yeah, 500 to 10% deficit. That's okay. If you're, let's say, 5'1" female and you're 45 kilos and you're only maintaining your weight at 1,200 calories, and you take 500 off, you're not sticking to that, because you're probably going to start. Okay, so yeah, the smaller, leaner, smaller the deficit. Let's keep it. Let's use common sense here. And the weight loss is determined by the deficit, as we'll know. So the greater deficit, greater the loss, etc. And yeah, for example, when it comes down to meal frequency, who's here that eat more often and your metabolism's higher? Yeah, complete myth. It's never been proven. So don't worry about that. Just eat 3 to 5 meals a day, and you'll be good. I'll skip over the rest. So, yeah, I've summed up the basics, and we're running out of time here. So, what we've got is our macronutrients. They are proteins, carbohydrates, fats, and alcohol. And then also love fibre. You've got to keep fibre in your diet. Without this, the rest isn't going to happen. So, this is where your fruits and your veggies need to come in. You give a decent fibre target, and you need to eat loads of veggies, which is good. So, this is kind of the 4 that we're going to be working around. I'm going to exclude alcohol because it gets far too complex. And also, as much as you can have it in your diet, and I feel like you should, if that's something you really, really enjoy, you like alcohol, then keep it in. like if someone says to me, Steve, you've got to take coffee out, I'll be like, I'm not listening to you. We're not ever going to get on. So, you know, you need to keep the things in your diet that you love, because ultimately you've got to stick to this for a long time. This is the stuff I'm not going to talk about. You can read through this in your own time. The use of the proteins, essentially building tissue repair and enzyme production. And then we've got protein calories. Now, this is kind of what every diet, whether it's chicken, broccoli and rice, or whether it's, I don't know, the latest paleo diet or whatever, essentially are made up of proteins. Okay, there is a level of protein intake on the chicken, broccoli and rice diet, just as if there is one on a vegan diet. There's a certain level. Now, what's optimal for or advised, should we say, intake is probably a lot higher than what the RDA is. The RDA recommendations, and people always say, yeah, but that's way higher than the RDA. And I'm like, well, that's a recommendation so you stay alive. I want to do a little bit more than just stay alive. I want to be freaking awesome at what I do. So yeah, I actually need a little bit more protein. Now, needs for protein. So the leaner the condition, so I set my clients from anywhere from about 2.3 to 3.1 grams per kilo body weight. Okay. Now this is a sliding scale. Now I've been doing a lot of research even recently, and I may even be changing this again to a slightly lower amount, would depend on where my research concludes. But anyway, for now, this is kind of where I'm working. So if someone's, for example, 30%, they don't need as much protein, so they've got less lean tissue, so they've got less muscle mass. So they might only be at 2.3 grams per kilo. However, someone at 10%, at 100 kilos, this guy's jacked. He needs a little bit more protein, so he's going to be at that sort of upper end. But also, I'm going to base this on their preference. So if they came back and they were already eating, 2.8 grams of protein for their body weight already, I'll be like, great, you love that, just keep doing it. Like, that's good, it's within my spectrum, as long as I think it's okay and I'm not sacrificing any other of the macronutrients, because I want to keep protein in just to keep muscle, okay? But it's there to keep satiety, and also, some people like eating meat. I love eating meat, so, if someone said, oh, you need to have 1 gram per kilo, it's only 70 grams. For me, that's like 2 chicken breasts. That's not enough in a day. I want to eat more. So again, I've got to keep this to my preference. Do you see where I'm going with this, yeah? So the amount of lean muscle mass will mean the kind of higher you need to go on the end, but generally also keep it within preference, and you get that adherence that you want. Fats, again, very essential. And you can read through that, and I suggest that you do that. But again, like if you're struggling for variety, you see some of your sex hormones start to drop a little bit, you might even take the fats up, or go on, start eating more food again. But yeah, if you start to get cravings for fattier foods, then you might need to change how you're setting things up. So what I do for fat intakes is I set a client from anywhere from 15 to 30% of total calories. So let's say someone's on 3,000 calories a day. I'd work out what that was in, obviously from their diet preference sheet, work things out and take it off. So this person here, 2,700, if you go for a moderate route, 25%, that's roughly this many calories. Divide that by 9, and then you've got how many grams per day, okay? All with me so far? And if someone prefers, so this is kind of like a little guide. If someone likes carbs, obviously I need to put their fats lower. If someone likes to eat fats, I'll put their fats higher. Somebody likes a bit of a mix between carbohydrates and fats will kind of be there. And then carbohydrates fuel performance, and they kind of fill in the rest. So once we've got our grams of protein, we times that by 4 to get the calories, and so how many calories do we get from protein? And then we've obviously got our fat calories as that percentage. We take those two off our total, and then we're given a remainder. Divide that by 4, and we've got how many grams per day you're on. Okay? So it's pretty straightforward. Work out your protein. Well, first of all, you need your maintenance. You then put in a deficit of calories if you're looking to lose weight, or a surplus of calories if you're looking to gain weight. Once you've got that total number, you work out how much protein you need. Then work out how much fat you require for your preference, and then you put the remainder that's left over from proteins. You can then look at carb cycling in refeeds if you get down to the very bottom end of dieting where it gets tough, like where I'm sat right now. Dieting is hard, and when you get that high day, you are like, whoop, whoop. It's got no benefit on, like people talk about hormones and having a cheat day and all this stuff is speed up metabolism. Rubbish, it doesn't. All it's good is versatility and keeping adherence and keeping your performance high because you're having a day of inputting more food. Now I think I'm out of time, so unfortunately we're going to have to wrap this up. I just want to talk about this one quickly. It will take me 30 seconds. So, why your diet is doomed to fail. Now, we always think that, oh yeah, I'm going to go in a deficit and I'm just going to lose weight at a lovely little linear rate. No, it doesn't happen like that. Just because, like I said, your TDE is always fluctuating. Hormones go up, they go down, and your body will counterbalance everything that you do. I don't really care too much about hormones because I know if I do something, my body's going to work itself out. It's way smarter than I am, so I don't even try and go down that route. But what I do know is that as I go in a deficit of calories, at some point my weight loss is going to stop because I'm not going to move as much and my performance is going to start getting a bit sucky. And therefore, it always means that it would require a new deficit. So my point now is really every week there needs to be refinement, adjusting, seeing how that client's doing, seeing how they're adhering to the plan, and making adjustments as you need to, like you would with any other sport, any other coaching practice, weekly reflections, getting to know your client. And that's why I think it's so important to be passionate about what you do, to actually have done it. Like, I know what it's like to compete, so I can empathise with my clients when they're telling me that they can't stand talking to other people. I'm like, yeah, it'll be a pain. It's, you become irritable and there's always other factors. So just bear in mind that, having some empathy and being on that journey with your client can sometimes really help them engage and essentially inspire them, because this is ultimately what it's like. You always have sticking points and you need to make adjustments at different points. And the power of pictures is one of the biggest things. We spoke about goals earlier and trying to define this. But I never really care about anything else than this. So weight tells me some sort of thing, but it doesn't give me the whole picture. If I just look at this, I can see if my diet's working or not. And it's really, really clear. So most of my assessments is done through this. So I would always say get your clients to do their before pictures and keep that on a regular momentum and base your adjustments off how their physique's changing. Okay? You can read through the rest.